This will really work well if you have three personal qualities. Three personal qualities. And that is, do you have patience? Good things in life take a long time. I think that's what we all know. 2, are you a lifelong learner and have an open mind and not an empty one? Are you willing to learn some new things so that you don't have to keep on repeating history and running over potholes that are financial that set you back every time, where you take you 1 step forward and 2 steps back because of a crash or whatever, and most people don't have a pension. People are worried about their nest egg. So tonight's topic is Social Security. That's part of the three-legged stool that we want to focus on. The third quality that you need to have is to believe that timing is everything. Timing is everything. So what are the 3 attributes that you need as a person to make all this work? You have to understand patience. To be a lifelong learner and have an open mind and not an empty one. And the third one is that you need to understand that timing is everything. If you have those qualities and want to work with us, then we're going to show you the path to get a great deal more money out of Social Security. Now, what I'd like to do is let's check our booklets to be sure everybody has the right stuff. If you'll open up your manila folder, let's be sure that we're squared away here. All right. So who are we? We're CPR My Career. On this little orange sheet, you can see what we do. We do many things for people, and we like to do well by doing good. We help folks get jobs. We help people with everything on this list. But if you go down to number 4, what is number 4? Social Security, and that's why you're here. So we're going to zero in on Social Security. Now, in the old days, someone would come to the office and ask us, as we went through this list of 15, teach me about Social Security. Well, the only thing that I would do was hand them this little handout of how to get inside of Social Security and how to work the system. I'd hand them this booklet and I'd say, good luck. And I found that wasn't enough. This is a complicated system, a very complicated system. This fellow right here just wrote a book about it, his 17th book. This Lawrence Kaltikoff of Boston University. Get What's Yours. If you can get a copy of this thing, you'd be doing pretty good. Get What's Yours. It's a brand new book. I'll go to Costco and they're already sold out. I can order them, I guess, on Amazon. But the title is The Secrets to Maxing Out Your Social Security. And that's what this little mini course is going to be about. These 47 slides that we're going to go through. That's what we're going to be talking about and focusing on. Now, let's go to the second page. Because this is the golden nugget in the pan that you're panning for right here. You see this little page right here? This is my favorite page. And when you go to Social Security, have you ever noticed if you start asking them for advice, they can sign you up for things, but they, by law, cannot give you any advice. If you will cooperate with us, if we can share our resources with you, and you can give us some information and put it into the computer is going to tell you exactly what to do and when. There'll be no guesswork. Ray and Deborah and I, we're not going to shoot from the hip and say, well, this is what we think you ought to do. We'll get the information, and we're going to walk through this in a 3-step process, get the information from you, put it in the computer, and the computer's going to spit out an 18-page report. But this will be the page. This will be the page that will show you how to move things around a wee bit, how to file and suspend, or do the restricted application, and get what you're after. There's a possibility that we can help you get between $50,000, maybe $300,000 extra out of Social Security for the rest of your life. But we're not guaranteeing that we can do this for every single person, because every person is a little different. Let's look at the next page. Next page is where we're talking about these filing strategies and also these acronyms. Social Security is full of them, like FRA, full retirement age. Most of us are going to be full retirement age at 66. But they're acronyms that we're going to be seeing in this presentation that you'll want to know. And the different strategies are outlined right here in simple form. Next page. If you're missing something, please let me know. Next page is an evaluation form. So when you get a chance, if you can fill that out, let us know when you want to come in. And if you want me to send you a copy of this PowerPoint, because this thing's complicated, folks. You may need to see this more than once to understand it. And if you had your own copy, at your leisure, you can study it and understand it and know what this total picture is, because I kind of go through this thing pretty quickly, and I may not be able to stop and answer everybody's question. So if you will jot down your name and your date and a little note, please send me the PowerPoint, and I will email that thing to you as a backup system to what we're going to be doing today. I want to be sure you got it, because you know this is complicated. Social Security has 2,827 rules. And when you go there, you may ask someone one question at one place, the same question in another place, and get two different answers. I'm 66, I'm on Social Security. I found it to be very, very difficult to understand. All right, so everybody's got all the basic materials that they need. And we're ready to start, okay? Before we start, I've got a couple of things I want to hand out to you folks for coming. I got a question. Who wrote this song? The first person that can tell me who wrote this song gets a copy of Tax-Free Retirement. Are you ready? This is a baby boomer song. We're all baby boomers, aren't we? Okay, who wrote this song? May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong. And may you stay forever young.
Rod Stewart.
Who?
Rod Stewart.
Nope.
Good guess.
Who else? Who else? His original name was Robert Zimmerman.
Oh,
Who is it?
Dylan.
There we
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Bingo. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. All
That's
right.
okay. Well done. It was a good job.
Very good. All right. Next question. Next question will be, how many ways are there to claim Social Security benefits? The person with the closest number, and I'll let you know, it's got 3 digits. How many different ways are there to apply for Social Security?
300? 800? 600?
300.
500? 500?
500, how many?
50,
Keep on going up a wee bit.
575?
55, 555,
A little higher.
560?
57.
575?
567 is it.
Oh.
Congratulations, winner number 2, if you'll pass this back. Tax-free retirement, it's one of the things that we do for folks. 2 of the major things that we're able to do for folks, besides Social Security, is to take people's assets and turn them into personal pensions. One that is taxed and one that is not taxed. And that book right there talks about the one that's not taxed. Okay, third one. This will be the last question. If your nest egg has $100,000 in it, and we go through another 2001 or 2008, and it decreases by 30%, you lose $30,000. What would it take in the future to get back just to be even? You've lost $30,000 of $100,000. What percent do you need to recover and get back in the game and get back even? What percent?
60?
Nope. Anybody have a guess?
25.
I'll give you a hint, it's not 30. Yeah, it's not 30. You would think it would be 30, but mathematically it's not.
50?
90.
Nope, nope.
50?
80.
Who said 50?
45.
27, 43, 30.
Bingo.
Another winner, wow.
Another
wow.
winner, all right. Ike, we're on fire. Okay, with that, let's get started, okay? We're ready to find out in about 45 minutes, what do we need to do to understand this complicated program, and how can Ray and Deborah and I help you with that? How can we generate this report at no charge to show you what to do? Okay, we ready to start? Deborah, you want to do the buttons? All right. So we are not with Social Security. I do not claim to be an expert with Social Security. I think my friend Ike over here is a expert on Social Security because he and Franklin Roosevelt designed the program.
I'm so old that the Dead Sea wasn't even sick when I was born. That's how old I am.
Do you remember the crash of 29? So here's who we are. CPR My Career. I have a couple of websites. This Reinventing My Life is very interesting. But we do all these different things, and we're not far away. It took me 4 minutes to drive over here. Right there, just south of 696 in Telegraph, in that 4-story building on the 4th floor, is where our office is. So we're very close by. Okay? So here are the 4 things that we're going to be talking about. We have to understand the basics, and most people understand some of the basics, but let's delve into this thing. We're going to have to do some planning. And this is the key item right here, switching strategies. File and suspend and restricted application. File and suspend and restricted application. And then we're going to show you that there's a sample report in here of a couple, 2 couples, as a matter of fact, of what their situation was and what we recommended and how things turned out for them. Okay? So, when can you file for benefits? Is there anyone that is not, is there anyone that's not born during those years of 43 to 54 in the room? Anybody born before 43?
42.
42. Was anyone here born after 54? So you're not a baby boomer. Damn. So 66 is your full retirement age. FRA, full retirement age. It's a key item in this whole thing because there's some strategies you can and cannot do, but you have to hit that magic age of 66. Okay? So there it is. 66. And so let's see how these benefits are calculated. They will take the past 35 years and average it out. You click it? Here we go. They take the top 35 years and they average things out. They adjust it for inflation, and it's called AIME. This is what the average salary that you were making for all those years. Okay. So the PIA is the amount they're going to give you after you've put all this money into Social Security. So I'm not going to get into how they figure it out. These are bend points and how they calculate it. I don't think that's quite necessary for you to understand it because you know if the government's in charge, it's going to be complicated and very unwieldy. But this is how they figure it out. So they took this person's average income and they did all this calculation to arrive at the fact that this person is due $2,300 a month when they fully retire at full retirement age for the rest of their life. Okay? So we understand what inflation is. Right now inflation is pretty low. Why? What's the one thing that's keeping prices down right now?
Interest rate.
Well, the interest rate is very low, but what else do you put into your car?
Yes.
Oh, gas.
Yes.
Gasoline is kind of tamping things down right now, so we don't have much inflation. Take a look at these years, 2009 and 2010. They didn't give you a cost of living adjustment, but it does add up over time, as you can see. So You can see some years with a great deal of with a great deal of cost of living. Reagan's first year, 14.3, and so on. But there was a lot of leftover inflation.
So is that every year they're adjusting it, you're saying?
Every year, there's a slight adjustment based on the consumer price index. They want to try to keep you ahead of the game with inflation, okay? So this person started off with $2,000 back in 1990 when they retired at full retirement age, and you can see where they are in 2012 and 13 and 14. Now, this increase right here, $60 a month, it's not a great deal of money, but it'll get you some gasoline on it. Something's better than nothing. But you can see, after a number of years, it went from 2,000 to 3,500. That's quite an increase. So compound interest works for us, okay? So this is the question that most people like to ask. Oh my God, this system is who has a question? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you were talking about the, how it changed. Well, it's always based on a based amount though, so it could go back down though too, yes or no?
Well, the cost of living,
I'm just asking.
It'll
It'll never go back down, you're saying?
it can.
Well, that's what I
It
was
went down to
asking.
0 in 2
Well,
years.
that's what
Yeah.
I was asking, so it could adjust down?
It fluctuates
Okay.
up and down based on what our inflation rate is. But the
Okay.
general purpose of that is, let's keep these seniors ahead of inflation. Yes, sir.
Just a point of reference, are you asking about the interest rate or the amount you're gonna get? Because the amount, in my experience, doesn't go down. You won't get an increase, but you won't get less on your check.
Well, okay, so it went up for 2 years, that last amount, and then it, there's no change. It would then stay at least at that amount, you're
My
saying?
experience is yes.
That's correct.
Okay,
It will never,
all right, thank you.
it'll never go backwards,
Okay,
but it may not increase.
okay, that's
All
fine,
right, good question.
okay.
So this is
Thanks.
something that most people will ask, and Ms. Kroger has a list of 10 questions that she's going to talk to you about that we'll answer at the office personally. But this is one of the major questions. Oh my God, it's going to go out of business. The government's going to shut this thing down. I better file for my benefits now while the getting is good, because I don't know how long I'm going to live. This thing may run out of money. But if you look at this thing very closely, the peak was in 2011. And this is the major trust fund right there. It will not run out of gas until 2035, so we have 20 years. If we don't do anything at all, nothing at all, we'll have money for the next 20 years. Now, what do you think they're going to do between now and 2035? They're going to raise the amount that people have to contribute. They're going to raise the full retirement age. They might lower some benefits. They'll make some adjustments, but I don't think our politicians are dumb enough to really do away with these things.
Sorry about that.
You think they are dumb enough? Well,
They're just scary, let's put it that way.
they scare me. They scare me because they cannot cooperate with one another. And that's what bothers me. Our whole government is based on compromise with the three branches of government, and everything is based on compromise. That's how we set up our democracy. I don't see much of it today. But now, the next one, please. You're wondering why it's so very difficult to get disability. Does anybody know someone that had a problem filing for disability? You know somebody and it was difficult and they had to hire an attorney? Here's the reason why. They're out of money. But where they're getting the money for disability, I don't know. But I think that'd be a good question. That's why it's so hard to get disability insurance. Okay, next one, please. So, what happens if I'm working and I'm not at full retirement age and I'm making a good living? What's going to happen to my benefits? What's the government going to do? Well, they're going to reduce it. What you need to do, really, is to hang in there till you get full retirement age if you're going to work. I'm 66. and I did fine this past year. I made a little under this amount, and I'm okay. No great shakes, I'm all right. So if you're going to work, the right strategy is wait till you're 66 before you start taking any money. All right, next one, please.
So you're taking money and you still were able to make 41?
Up to.
Yeah,
After 41,
Yeah.
they're going to start
okay.
taking it away. So here's an example. This person is 1 year shy of full retirement age. This person is making $50,000 a year because the person needs income. What they're going to do is give you an exemption of 15.7. So what they're saying to you is they're going to penalize half of that $34,000. For every $2, they're going to take back 1. Okay, everybody with me so far? Yes, sir.
I have an understanding, my understanding is that once you reached, and I don't know what currently is pending legislatively, once you reach full retirement age, that you have no limit on what you could earn.
Well, according to this thing, this is what this says. Before you file for Social Security, would you please go see your CPA?
Ah,
I'm not allowed to give you legal or tax advice. I can give you financial advice. But I want you to be sure that before you do anything, you learn as much as you can and then go see your CPA. All right? Next, please. So, here's how they tax your benefits. The other one was a penalty. Now this is the taxation on it. And if you're single, this is the threshold, $34,000, and they can tax up to 85% of it. Next, if you're married filing jointly, the threshold goes from 34 to 44, and they can still tax 85% of it. Okay, does anyone
Wait,
here?
I'm confused on what you're.
Back.
So I thought you could make X amount without,
Well, there's a penalty and there's a tax. There's two different systems going on here. One's a penalty and the other one's the tax is on.
so are you always taxed on everything you
Well, are you single or married, or
married?
you're married? Do you file jointly?
Yes,
Do you two guys make over 44?
yes.
They're gonna, and when you start taking out your Social Security, they will start taxing you on that. But you haven't taken out Social Security. May I ask your age?
61.
Well, you sure are pretty for.
Ask me in another couple of months.
All right, let's move on. Does anybody here have a nest egg and can explain to the audience what required minimum distributions are?
You can.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we just had that conversation today.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
Required minimum distribution is a percentage of your retirement IRA that you must take, the government says you must take annually after you reach the age, I think it's 70 and a half, or the year
Exactly.
following you're 70 and a half. It's based on some actuarial tables, but I think it comes out to about 3% if you look at the.
You're right on the money. You're
Thank you.
right on the money. 3.64% is when they start taking it out. You see, on the pre-taxed assets that you have, your IRAs, your 401ks, your 403bs, you put money into that
Yeah.
and save taxes. Uncle Sam didn't get a nickel. But when you take him out, he wants his money. Now, what's the penalty if you don't adhere to that rule?
I chose not to accept the penalty, I don't know. But it's 20, it's significant as I recall.
Yes.
20%, 30%, 50%?
Yes.
50, 50% penalty. So there are two major ages with your pre-taxed nest egg. Let's get these two dates in your mind straight. One's 59 and a half. If you have an old 401k or an old IRA and you start tapping that thing because you need the money and you're not 59 and a half, you'll pay an extra 10% IRS penalty plus the taxes because you haven't paid any. The next major date is 70 and a half. If I haven't touched this thing and I just forgot about it and I get past 70 and a half and I don't get a letter from the company that has my assets, there'd be a 50% penalty. So the 59.5 and 70.5, the two ages that you need to be cognizant of.
A good point to mention too, as I had some distribution with two different organizations. One, I did receive a letter from informing me completely as to what was going to happen. The other one was just kind of in the dark. And I had to call them.
Well, we don't let our people,
So-
we take care of our people. We're not going to let that happen to you. We're not going to let you lose a dime. As a matter of fact, we want you to make some extra money. That's why we're all sitting here right now. Okay, so here's where we are, and it's 3.64. As you can see, the older you get, the more they're going to want, because they want to get their money while you're still alive. And there's your penalty right there. Please be aware of that penalty. Now, this was the question that I asked just a minute ago, and I said, oh, I've got a nest egg of $100,000. Here comes another crash. Doggone it. Oh my God, I've lost $30,000. I lost $30,000, the 100 became 70, and here it is. The market has to go up 43% just to get even. Does everybody here have a clear recollection of 1987, 2001, 2008? Ike's got a recollection of 1929. You remember what happened then?
Oh, yeah.
You got wiped out,
It
didn't
was
you?
a Tuesday afternoon, I remember that.
October 30th, it was a Tuesday, and you got wiped out from selling apples on the corner in front of the GM building. Do we want this to happen again? Is there something that you can do to take what you have and make sure it never loses another nickel, and if it grows, you keep it, and then turn it into a personal pension? Has anybody ever done one of those? That's something we can help you with. Next, please. So here's this person with $500,000, and they haven't taken out the money because they didn't get a letter, and they needed to take this amount out, and the government taxed them $13,000. That you don't want to happen. If you're working with us, it will not happen. Next, please. So, continuing on. So here are some things that are updated for 2015. The maximum taxable wages for a W-2 that they will take out. They take out 6.2 if you have a W-2, 12. They double that if you get a 1099. And here's the maximum that you could be able to get in this year, 2663. And the average for most people is 1,300, and married couples well over 2,000. Okay. All right. Social Security planning, getting the facts. Next. So here's what you got to do. They quit mailing those statements. You got to go online, get a password, and get in the system and see where you are with this thing. And you got to be sure that your wage history is correct, because that's how they base how much they're going to give you. If they're missing some things, you need to make an appointment with the Social Security office and say, hey, here's my W-2, and you say this, and this is what it was. And you make sure that that thing is correct. When do you want to retire? How old do you expect to live? Women outlive men, and I want to know the reason why. Can somebody tell me the reason why? Ray, have you got a comment to make? You're awfully quiet back there. Yes, he did.
Well, I have an answer.
Let's hear it, Dyke.
Okay, all right. They always ask, why do wives outlive their husbands?
Yes, sir.
That pass away before they were, because they want to.
I always thought because
It's supposed to be fun.
I always thought because you women work us to death.
It's the only way out.
I didn't say that. I just left it alone.
Is that correct? You may get a point for that. All right. So, how long are we going to live? You got to figure that out. When you give us your data, you need to tell us how long you expect to live. That's based on your health, the genes of your family. Some people just live longer than others. Understanding what the cost of living is. When we do our reports, we'll put in either 2 or 3% is what we think the government will give you going forward. And also, we will take a look at what you have that is